The box office results of a movie, any movie, is an important part of the movie's release because at the end of the day, it's all about the money, profit. And I'm not someone who cares too much about how much a movie makes, but I am aware how much it can affect the movie in a positive or negative way. I do keep track of how much all the superhero movies make, but only the worldwide. I don't really care about international or whatever else they have. And I've always had my guesses as to how much the movie will make because it's fun to speculate. I won't deny it though, I am very wrong most of the time. And here I want to give my predictions of the 2023 superhero movies box office. Pretty much a complete amateur guessing. I will make these predictions based on what the results were so far from the movies that came out, but I will also say what my predictions were for those movies before they came out. That being Ant-Man the Wasp, Quantumania, and Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Ant-Man the Wasp, Quantumania ended up making $474 million, which is the lowest from the Ant-Man trilogy. The first Ant-Man made $519 million, and then Ant-Man the Wasp made $622 million. My prediction was that it would make it to $1 billion. And yeah, it's crazy. I thought this movie had a chance at $1 billion. There was a lot of buzz about it. The trailers were solid. The marketing was on point. It was a way bigger scaled movie than the first two, giving it more of a blockbuster feel. And I just thought it would do better, but I was pretty wrong on that one. Shazam! Fury of the Gods ended up making $133 million, way less than the first Shazam, which made $367 million. My prediction for this one was $500 million. I thought it would have made more than the first, not insanely more, but more. I thought that range because this movie had pretty terrible marketing and a pretty meh second trailer, but I thought maybe all the praise that the first movie got would boost this one. And also the fact that the first Shazam came out around the same time Avengers Endgame, which I think really affected its box office because everyone had Endgame on their mind and not a DC movie about a pretty unknown character. But overall, Shazam! Fury of the Gods flopped pretty hard. But now moving to the movies that didn't come out yet, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. The first Guardians made $773 million, and the second made $863 million. And if I gave my guesses before Ant-Man came out, I probably would have said like $1.1 billion because I really feel like this movie is an event movie. But because Ant-Man didn't do super great, and that movie also seemed like an event movie, and with James Gunn becoming the CEO of DC, which I really don't know if that will affect the movie, but I feel like it might, so I'll guess $750 million. About the same as the first two. Next up, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which I'm giving $900 million. The first Spider-Verse only made $384 million, and I find that surprising. I would have thought a kids animated Spider-Man movie would have made more, but for the sequel, I think the numbers will go up. The first Spider-Verse received so much love. The trailers for Across the Spider-Verse look insane with like all the Spider-Man stuff, which I think definitely will get kids excited. And this is post Spider-Man No Way Home, which I think really hyped up the multiverse and the Spider-Verse. Transformers Rise of the Beast, I'm giving this one $850 million. All the Transformers movies have done really well at the box office. Two of them even hit $1 billion. And I really think this one will also be a hit. The last Transformers movie, Bumblebee, did the worst out of all the Transformer movies, but I feel like maybe that's because it didn't have Transformers in the title. It was just about one single Transformer. While this one has Transformers in the title, and an overall sick title with Transformers Rise of the Beast. And they will have a lot of Transformers. It's coming out in the summer, it's a summer blockbuster, and the trailers really show the blockbuster part. When it comes to The Flash, I really have no idea what angle to look at it from. It's so unpredictable to me. Like, should I consider the drama of Ezra, the box office results of Shazam, the DC reboot, Michael Keaton returning, all the positive reviews? This is really a 50-50 movie to me. I still think it will do really well, so I will actually give it $950 million. But if it didn't have some of the baggage it has, I probably would have gave it up to like $1.5 billion. I'm really curious how this movie will do because it has so much going for it, but also so much going against it. Right after The Flash, we have another DC movie, Blue Beetle, which I will give $200 million. I really don't think this movie will do well. And this is impacted by the Shazam results. The DC reboot of James Gunn actually might have had a big effect on everything. I wouldn't have thought that casual fans would care, but maybe some people just think that these upcoming movies just don't matter, and if an already established character like Shazam couldn't pull them in, I don't think a new one that's also pretty unknown can. And also a disclaimer, if I didn't mention this earlier, these predictions have nothing to do with my excitement for the movie. It's just strictly how good I think the movie will do at the box office. But now moving into Kraven the Hunter, which I originally would have probably gave it like $250 million. I didn't think it would do much better than Morbius, but do better than Morbius because Kraven is a bit of a better known character than Morbius. But we recently found out the movie will be rated R, and I think that changes everything. I think the movie in quality will be so much better than R rating, and based on what we've heard from CinemaCon, it will actually be hard R on the R. What the hell did I just say? It will be hard on the R. I'm gonna give this movie $550 million. Now the Marvels, which is another one that's impacted by stuff. The first Captain Marvel made 1.1 billion, and I never thought the second one would make that much, but I still would have gave it like 700 million. Then I saw the results from Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania and the negative intention that the first trailer for the Marvels got, and I'll give the Marvels $450 million. I still think it'll gain some momentum because it's an MCU movie, but I just don't see it doing insanely well. I think it will do around the same amount as Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, if not less. And finally, Aquaman the Lost Kingdom. The first Aquaman made $1.1 billion, and believe it or not, is the highest grossing DC movie. The sequel I will give $800 million. Not quite as good as the first, but up there. I maybe would have given more if it wasn't for Shazam, but I think this movie might be less affected. I think the blockbuster nature of the first Aquaman really brought people in, and if they market this movie right, I think it will do really well even with all the DC stuff going on. I noticed that I use the word blockbuster a lot, but that's just a big selling point. People want to see some big ass spectacle, it drives them in, and blockbuster is just the right word for it.